don't know if you can see that behind me, but that's just a beautiful raw day here in Northern Ireland. And I like being out on days like that. It makes you feel glad to be alive. And wow, well, there's been a lot going on in what passes for politics in the United Kingdom. Poor old Andy Burnham, much as I don't like him or his politics, it seems that not only is Keir Starmer intent on cancelling elections where the right may the right may win, he's also cancelling elections where his enemies, his rivals, his political rivals could actually win. So we've seen, and I think it's an unbelievably short-sighted and ridiculous decision that clueless Keir's made. But he's basically, I don't know how windy that sounds. I'm going to find out when I get back and listen back to this, but this is where I found out how good these mics are. But he's now managed to cancel elections of his own enemies on the left, which I think is, well, it's a very, very interesting way of doing business, isn't it? Very interesting way of doing business. And we'll see how it all goes for him. But I think it's going to end very, very badly for him. So we've had that. We've had two-tier Keir. We've had all the craziness going on with Davos and Greenland. And I want to say something about Greenland. Now, I'm not going to pretend I'm a strategic expert about Greenland. But from what I can gather, what Trump's plan is, and again, I've just given Trump a bit of an ear bashing because I'm sure he'll listen to my video and really be upset by it not. But I've just expressed my opinions on the way Trump spoke about the British military, but also on the nuances of it and the way that this is really, really wild seas. I love it when it's like this. Again, I'm gonna hopefully this will do it justice. I'm just gonna turn my camera around a bit, as if you can see that behind me. Isn't that spectacular looking? Beautiful. And yeah, so where was I? Hey. Basically, the issue with Trump and Greenland. Well, I genuinely believe that the reason that Trump wants Greenland is strategic military reasons, to build what he's called the Golden Dome. Obviously, he had the Iron Dome in Israel, and of course Trump has to go one better. Now I've got a massive hill to climb up here, guys, so if I start breathing very, very heavily, you know what, I'm just going to finish this point and then I'll walk up the hill before I say anything else. Trump is trying to build the Golden Dome. The whole point of the Golden Dome is to defend, supposedly, him and his NATO allies from attack from Chinese, Russian or North Korean nuclear missiles. Who knows? I mean, I read the book by Annie Jacobson called Nuclear War last year, and we are in a very, very precarious position. And my opinion is, any nation, I mean, it's bad enough that the Russians and the Chinese have them, but any other nation trying to get nuclear weapons needs to be hit with a massive sledgehammer by America and its allies, i.e. Iran. Iran needs to be stopped. The fact that North Korea's got them, I'm guessing that the Chinese rein North Korea in and say, listen, if you set your nukes off, it will lead to us all getting killed, and hopefully that crazy rocket man will wind his neck in and not ever use them. But the fact that they've got nuclear weapons, I just hope that the sneaky beakies and the CIA and whoever it is that supposedly looks after us in the international realm, MI6, yeah, some chance, that they will be basically doing whatever they can to make sure that that Rocket Man's rockets don't work. But who knows? Anyway, that's why Trump is wanting Greenland. And to be honest with you, who can blame him? If that means that he can defend his people more thoroughly, then surely that's a good thing. Surely that's a fair enough reason to try and get that territory and use that territory to defend your own territory. That just seems to be what people have done for millennia. And when it's a choice between having total nuclear annihilation or having a little bit of barren rock in the North Atlantic, I'm with Trump. Fill your boots, mate. Go on. You get that land. You keep it. and you do whatever you want with it. And yeah, so I think that's me just recovering after getting up the hill. I think Trump's quite right to want Greenland, and he might have gone about it the wrong way, but I'm guessing Trump, as he always seems to, will get his own way in the end. But again, the Trump derangement syndrome that Keir Starmer's now openly showing. And I think, unfortunately, the UK is probably going to pay a price for Keir Starmer's arrogance, ignorance and folly. I don't know who Keir Starmer thinks he is. Now, I'm a British patriot and I love my country. But I do know that when you've got a big brother that's fighting for you all the time and is willing to defend you and help you where your interests meet and come together, or maybe he's not even a big brother, maybe he's a big friend that'll have your back, why would you start stabbing your big friend in the back and collaborating with our enemies? Not to put a too fine a point in it, there's obviously somebody within the British government, well, not somebody, I would say there's a cabal of them who are basically pro-China, pro-EU, anti-American, anti-Trump, and they would much rather that the UK was pulled into the gravitational orbit of China and the EU. And I count both of those entities as evil empires. The EU did it with very soft, sneaky, subtle power. The Chinese are doing it with still sneaky and subtle power, but they've also got the threat of the big fist in the silk, the Chinese silk-covered glove. So, what do we do? What do we do about our Prime Minister? What do we do about what's happening in the country? Well, I think what we've got to do, and I keep coming back to it, we've got to organise, we've got to build our own communities, we've got to build our own networks of friends and people. Now again, one of the problems I have, I must admit, I have a massive trust issue with pretty much everybody. I trust very few. There's an old adage that a friend of mine once said a long time ago, love many, trust few, and it's very true. The same guy told me, set your face like flint and do what God's telling you to do, and I'm trying to do that as well. But no, we've got real problems with our government and its treachery and its treason. That's not even, haven't even mentioned the fact that they've allowed millions of people to go into the country who hate this country and want to destroy it. So the first chance anybody gets to vote this government out, do it. And what I will say is, everybody that watches this video, I'm going to ask you to do one thing. If you don't do anything else, do this one thing. Register to vote. Then at least you can have a say in what happens next. If you're not registered to vote, you have no say. You can't do anything about it. You're stuck. You're a busted flush. Man, this is getting very messy and slippy here. But yeah, so that's my advice to everybody. Let's just really, really think very carefully about what we do next. My other bit of advice is very simple. Join Advance UK. Advance UK are the only party that can do anything about this, that can make a difference. Anyway, I'm not sure if any of this will come out because the wind is so high. If you can hear me over the wind, we've done a good job. If not, it is what it is. I've had a good walk and I can always make this video again, but see you all soon.